Hello, everyone. This is Ted with Oaxray, and today we're going to talk about how you deal with rude customers and rude clients at stores when you're scanning and trying to find some inventory. So today I wanted to address an issue that I actually saw in a group today. And what essentially happened was a guy was going to purchase a book. He put it in his cart, and a rude employee comes over, takes the book out of his cart and says, "We're going to sell this on eBay or online, and you can't have this book." And he was kind of asking for what he should do about the situation. And I know this situation can be angering towards you. I mean, you can really get upset. Similar things have happened to me, but what I suggested was different than what just about everyone else said. Everyone said, call the manager and go off on the person, get your item, it's yours, it's in your cart. Number one, a lot of states, a lot of areas, it's not your item until you purchase it. And just because you have it in your cart doesn't mean the manager can't change their mind, say this is not for sale, especially if it's an accident. If someone just accidentally puts it out and later they realize they shouldn't have put that price on there or whatever it is, just depending on where your location is, they probably have the law in their favor unless you've already paid for it. That's number one. But number two is you have to think about this long term. This was at a Goodwill store. So one thing you have to remember is stores can set policies against resellers like us. So a store can say no scanning in the store. And a store can say we're not going to sell more than X amount of product to any given person. So I think from a long-term standpoint, everyone, even in a situation like this where you might be upset and you want to call corporate and you want to do these things, the manager, whenever you do all those things, manager gets in trouble. Now the manager says, you know what? We're just going to scan every single book now. We're not going to let the customer see any books that we don't pre-scan, that we don't make sure that they're not worth anything. All because you made this huge fuss, and now one of your good suppliers is not giving you any more books. That's number one. Number two is I have seen fist fights over books at these sales. And generally what happens is once a fight happens, they stop resellers. They say, you guys are too much hassle. Yes, we're making money off of you guys. You guys are buying books, but it's too much of a hassle. So what we need to do, and what people should do in general, is be very polite. I understand that you can get upset. I have had a lady take items from a box that I had set up. I closed the box. I put it to the side at a sale. It was clearly mine, and she went through there and just started taking things out while I wasn't paying attention. So rather than go off on this older lady, probably 60 or 70 years old, I said, you know what? You did something wrong. I know you did. You're not going to admit it, but you took my stuff. It was clearly marked. It was mine. But from here on out, I am going to change the way that I do things so that this can't happen again. And the reason I did that is because if I would have caused a stink, if I would have gone off cursing and snatching the book, things like that, then maybe I can't come to the sale next time. And I have to think about this long term. And that's how you should think about these situations. When you go into a store, the proper etiquette, put the books back how you found them. Don't wreck the bookshelf so everything is sideways. I know this is the fastest way to do it, is just to pull them out, put them back in. Make sure it's neat, because sales do change policy. They can see you and then change policy based on what other resellers are doing. So everybody out there, these things can be upsetting, but we need to think about the long-term game here. And what you're going to think about also is maybe that Goodwill doesn't have a good process in place, and that is why that person came up to you and tried to take that book from your hand. Maybe it's time for you to approach that manager and say, I come here every week. You guys clearly aren't doing the best of jobs finding these items. How about you let me manage your book inventory? And what you do is you turn that negative experience into a positive one by possibly getting other sellers out of the game completely. maybe they don't have a good process put in place. How about I be your book guy? I scan everything in the back room. I make sure that 100% of the things that come out on the sales floor cannot be sold for a higher price on Amazon, eBay, whatever it is. I'll manage this, and then you don't have to worry about it, manager. Instead of taking the route of, I'm going to call corporate, I'm going to get this manager in trouble. Now he's going to know who you are forever, and he can change his policies to actually affect your business if that is a good source. So take the long-term approach. Don't get upset at these things. They happen. They have happened to me. I'm sure they're going to happen to you. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day. Make some money using Oaxray. Please like and subscribe. And if you have a question about Amazon, put a comment down below and I'll make a video about it as soon as I can.